First choice players out. We'll get the dub. Warriors, get the Dolphins. How you feeling, Saucy? Let's go.
Let's go.
This is Warriors Anonymous.
Well, last week was the reserve grade team. This week, I don't even know what we were, but hell, we got the win anyway. Fins down this week. The wires, up the wires, baby. Jared Cronin, Daniel Wharekura, and a very sad-looking Isaac Sauce there. Isaac, give us a rundown on the joy that you're feeling right now.
Despite the outfit, I'm feeling pretty stoked. 2 wins on the trot in the face of adversity. Plus, what can you say? Perfect way to go into the bye week, right?
Oh, absolutely. And so unexpected as well from where we were a couple of weeks ago. It's like, man, incredible. Now, Moneta Sauce is away with, I think he's got COVID at the moment, poor fella. So rest up, my man. Isaac's got a bit of a, you got a replacement for him, I understand, on hand for any Moneta content. There we go. Hey, Moneta.
Hey,
how are you? Look a little bit.
You won't see it on the podcast. That's why you got to check it out on YouTube, please. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Alienated all of our listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Anyway, this is Warriors Anonymous, of course. I'm back as well. Last week, returned home from Magic Round and it magically disappeared my voice. So that was funny. But yeah, good to be back, boys. My goodness, I don't know if I've ever seen a few weeks like what we've just experienced. Daniel, what is your thought as a Warriors fan on what we have witnessed over the past fortnight?
Oh, jeez, just like it's weird. It's just a weird scenario, and actually, in hindsight, it's exactly what we needed. And I know that sounds weird, but like 10 first choice, if not 11. Like potential first choice players out this week, and obviously, more. There was more this week than last week, and they just go and get the job done with plenty of heart, plenty of grit. So, part of me just thinks we just simplified the game. We were so trying to be so expansive in the first 8 or so rounds, and we lost our way. And actually, all you can do really when you've, no disrespect to the troops that come in, they're all great, but in comparison to the level of the guys that were out, you just have to actually tackle hard, run hard, and just look at how you play the game basically as well, and that's enough to get the points.
Now, obviously, it had been a bit of a struggle in the lead up to the past couple of weeks. Isaac, with this past couple of games, 2 wins in a row, undermanned, against the odds, backs against the wall, all that sort of stuff. Could this be, the biggest reason for Warriors fans to really trust in Webby?
100%. I mean, undermanned, I think, is probably an understatement as well. Undermanned is missing 3 or 4 top players, not double digits. 10, arguably 11 top players. I mean, how many changes were there from last week to this week as well? And we had a couple of, one debutant. Sorry, can't quite pronounce this.
Yeah, Graham Dolpher.
Graham Dolpher. Patrick Herbert II, I reckon. He looked like Patrick Herbert to me. Even down to the way he ran and defended, he looked like Patrick Herbert. But yeah, Webster's obviously got a plan. I thought they played things more up the middle than we've ever seen. Jackson Ford, in particular, played a hell of a lot of minutes just running through the middle. I think Bud's right. Andrew Webster just simplified the game plan, and it's worked. And I think I called this on the podcast last week with Buddha. It's going to be all up the middle where we take advantage of them, because their forward pack is journeymen. They've got some big names, but they're journeymen at this time in their career, and I thought that's where we could take advantage. And guys like Tom Ale and Bunty Afoa, I thought were really good through the middle. Awesome. Jazz and Dylan, they just replicated what they did last week, but I thought Tom and Bunty really stepped up this week. Just to keep that game plan going.
Yeah, they were extra special. just before we get knee-deep into the game against the Dolphins, and speaking of middle forwards, we were missing a glaring, absentee from this game. In the not undermanned Warriors, we almost demanned, weren't we? Completely. Addin Fonua-Blake last week was part of the team that knocked off Penrith, and then something went a little bit astray, with him in terms of his interactions with the team. He went MIA after the game. Daniel, what do you or how do you see this situation with Addin at the moment?
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation. There's a lot of conflicting viewpoints and narratives going on as well.
God, no, there what?
And yeah, my Twitter feed was probably about 7 different scenarios were going on. Someone said it was at the Dogs next week. Like even the Tigers. But what we know is he breached team protocol. He, for some reason, was packed a bit of a sad. Maybe didn't have the best of games personally as well, and key players like that, they get hard on themselves. But someone as a leader in that team should realise the joy especially for some of the young guys to get a massive win like that. And maybe if you didn't contribute the same level you'd like to, or you got pulled at a key time, and I think he might have got pulled at a key time back into the game. I think a lot of that was just for defence as well. And look, to be honest, the man's been our best player. He's had big minutes all season. So, but look, I support Webby in benching him. It just goes to show no one's bigger than the team. You break protocol, you don't celebrate with your team, and you obviously don't have your final message at the end of the game. Too bad. It actually just sends a message that no one's bigger than the team.
Yeah, for sure. Now, it was interesting to note that there were shots, I would say fairly deliberate shots of Addin, training this week with the boys. There was a shot in the game coverage against the Dolphins. He was sitting up in the team area with a few of the players. So I think a lot of that is deliberately done to really try and keep perceptions on track. Isaac, I've got to ask you, bro. It was almost like Warriors fans got hit with the thing on Men in Black where like they just zip everyone's memory, like because all of a sudden everyone's like, just piss off. I'm like, whoa, man, like. As Daniel said, he's been one of our top performers, and he's for the most part he's been a professional with things. But how do you see it, and especially the fan reaction to what has gone down?
I feel like some fans do forget pretty quickly what he's contributed to the team. And this season, arguably, he's been our best meter reader. He's right up there in terms of stats. So I don't think they should be too quick to judge. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I have my own opinions on what he did as well, but it's just typical of the Warriors fandom, right? We wear our hearts on our sleeves and we really care. So when something comes out like this, the rumor mill goes into overdrive and you get a million different photos of him standing away from the team and people looking into that a little bit further than they should. My personal opinion on it is... he made a mistake, but he made a big one, Sure, he may not have played up to his standard. I don't know if that's the actual story about him not being there, but he, as a leader, he probably should have been there to celebrate the game and the fact that they turned over the Penrith Panthers. Even if he didn't contribute as much as he liked, a lot of those other players in that team did. And he should at least have celebrated with them. And he's probably learnt his lesson now. And as Buddha said, no one's bigger than the team. And Webster's just reinforced that by dropping him, especially for such a key game going into the bye. And he'll probably be walking around with his tail between his legs a bit now too, having seen the Warriors pull out the win against a pretty quality Dolphins outfit.
Yeah, for sure. It was interesting. I went back and just watched the first half last week, and it was just solely watching what he was doing on the field and seeing how bad he was or whatever. And for that first half, to be fair, he had one error. There was another one he was involved in which I'm not actually convinced he was at fault for. So I felt like he was running a dummy line and the ball got thrown to him. But other than that was about the only sort of issues that I could really see. Obviously, his stats were down on that, but in terms of looking for some kind of horrendous performance, like a Kane Evans type of effort, there was nothing anywhere near what I would thought would be ringing alarm bells. So really interesting spot we find ourselves in, and I guess it's probably a good idea for us to do our quick hard or nah as well, because we're down to the big question. He's signed on at the Sharks from 2025, due to carry on his Warriors deal until the end of this year. Will he make it that far? Hard or nah? We'll start with you, Isaac. Will he see out the end of 2024 with the Wires?
I think he will. I think he will see it out. I think he's probably learned the error of his ways. There's one thing I want to also mention on the back of what I just said before, just to add on, is no one knows what's going on behind the scenes in his own personal life as well. We all know the stuff that's going on with his family and the reason why he wants to go to Australia. Maybe he had a bad day on that side of things. So again, don't be too quick to judge for that reason as well. I think he stays.
Nice, bro. Nice. Daniel, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, he had a bad day.
I knew that was coming.
I can see him loading it up, eh?
Nah, look, I don't think it's going anywhere. There's only one caveat for me, is that if Warriors are in a position where they are out of the end of year postseason period, then they may have an opportunity to do some business, to the Sharks. There was obviously the talk about the Finucane money that got available now because he's medically retired. But that would just be, unlikely that he'll see it through. And, we're back. We're back in the mix now. So, we'll see him there.
So hard he'll stay?
Hard. Hardish.
Yeah. I'm going to go hard as well. I'll stay. I'll stay in that positive mindset. Well, I see it as well. We're 12 games into a 24-game regular season, so we're halfway there. Let's see what happens next. Take it.
Hold up. Breaking news just in as well. Mitch Barnett has made the New South Wales team.
Good boy. Yes. Well done, Mitchell. Congratulations.
You deserve it, mate.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very good. And,
very good.
And no Wade Egan, yeah?
No Wade Egan. So Reece Robson takes over the 9th spot.
Yeah.
So tick on the Kiwis' eligibility. It's still alive. Dream is still alive, Wade. Keep it alive. Never give up. Okay, boys. Let's run through the injuries that we've got. We've almost got a full starting 13 unavailable currently. Isaac, have we ever really experienced an injury toll like what we're seeing at the moment?
Short answer, no. I've never seen anything like it. I think I said at maybe near the start of this season that one of the big things with our team is we had depth, but I thought I would have to eat my words after all the injuries that we've had, but now it's sort of coming to fruition, the depth that we actually do have. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, right? A lot of these young folk are coming through and really showing their mettle. So, it's good to see the depth. It's almost good to see the depth being tested in the way that it is in such trying conditions as well against two top teams. But 10, 11 players? never seen the likes of it, eh?
As they were running through the list, they might have actually left a couple out as well when they were running through it, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is quite amazing. But in terms of being able to win a couple of games while we're down on troops, got the the reserves coming through effectively. What does it mean, do you think, Daniel, for our chances to to contend this year?
I mean, it's a huge amount, right? You're getting. We always talked about, when there was 1 or 2 injuries, 3 or 4 injuries, blood a couple of the young guys. J.K. Laban was getting some good game time. We've all wanted Awe Lauatawa to get some game time as well. So you're just blooding these younger guys into the system. So that for that group, you get a taste of the football as well, and some competitive football so that they can be relied on. What we have noticed, I think, is those younger guys as well. The rigours of first grade is tough. It is hard to be able to play back week in, week out as well. And there's been some big injuries, ankles and bits and pieces for us. For some of them, Paul Roach came off, 9 minutes into it today. So they do talk about it takes time to become a seasoned first grader as well. So, but there's also, I think there's a crop of our kind of more experienced first graders that again have stood up when they've been called upon, and their roles change a bit as well. So, you see the Bunty and the Tomali, their role has to be elevated as well. Jazz's role has to be elevated as well. And then you've obviously, from a playmaking point of view, Tamari's had to come in and run the cutter. And then how good is it to have Chanel Harris-Tavita back in the club as well? Just a solid first grader, play every position really, you can. So, just goes to show you need that depth. You need all those players, but it will set us up nicely just in the latter part of the season. If we can, we need to earn the right and be there. But the depth, look, to do the job 2 weeks in a row, undermanned, is just phenomenal, and that just goes to show that we've got a real side here.
Against a couple of top 4 teams as well. It's been a pretty gutsy effort, very very gutsy. I would say. Now, in the early stages of this game, Isaac, I would say that your friend there, the sad Dolphin. I would have thought that Dolphin would have been looking pretty happy, when the Finns went up 10-0. Us not so much, but did you think we were about to be on the wrong end of a bit of a spanking?
I didn't. I just lamented the poor start, and I felt really bad for Ed Cossey. Gets his chance back in first grade, and he musts his head up. But yeah, I wasn't. I didn't think it was the end of the world. I mean, I thought it was just a poor start, and arguably we'd love to get rid of those. It seems to be a bit of a habit. But hey, they bounced back in the face of adversity. 10 points down against a top 4 team. You got to give them credit for the way they came back from that, because it could have been easy to go the other way, and we've said this about Warriors teams in the past, where 10-0 down, by the end of the game, you're looking down the barrel of 40 or 50 points, right? If you had 10 of your top players out, that's what we're looking at in seasons gone by. This is not that Warriors team of then.
Yeah. Now, on the subject of Ed Cossey, let's talk about it. Let's ask some hard questions here. Daniel, we'll throw this one to you, bro. Is Ed Cossey first grade material?
I do believe he is. I think he just needs. There's a couple of things he needs to work on, right? And I think a lot of it is around just the concentration part. In tough, first couple of sets, and you're coughing up your lollies. Not ideal. And I think you go back a couple of weeks. I think he definitely improved from that Roosters game. The Roosters game, he was at sea, right, and they were just all over him. So I do think so. But again, he came out of the team. He's been out of the team for some time now. It's hard to get yourself back to that level. The upside you do get with Ed is you get a big body and you get some solid carries as well. But look, put it here, he is a first grader, but he wouldn't be a first choice with everyone fit.
I wanted him to see him use that big body when he was going to try and score on the corner. He tried to sort of finesse his way in there. It was like, bro, just
Yeah.
Barge there,
just put
man.
the bumpers up, eh?
That's it.
Boing.
Just steamroll that boy. On the other wing, I actually thought Marcelo Montoya, Nego Montoya was magnificent.
Best game of the season.
Yeah. Isaac, bro, how happy were you to see him bounce back with a little bit of confidence, bit of a pep in his step?
I thought he had a really good game last week as well, and I think he just carried on that confidence. I can almost see in his demeanour as well. Like if they'd show the shots of him when there was a penalty or they had a turnover, he was just pumped, and I kind of feel like he's taking it upon his own shoulders to lead the team. He's not wearing the captaincy hat, but he's leading by example, with a number of other players doing the same thing, but particularly him. His form's turned around because he was a bit up and down for the first part of the season, but the last 2 weeks he's really put his hand up, and he sort of bought his ticket for the rest of the season on that wing. So yeah, it was awesome to see. I don't know what's happened, but he's really put his hand up, and it's just so good to see.
I don't know what's happened either. All of a sudden, our left side attack, especially in that first half, it looked like bloody potent lay out there. I was like, this is great. Where has this been? Also, in the halves, part of that, you mentioned Chanel Harris-Tavita coming in, our guy. The man coming in and getting a great hustle try, man. Like, just classic him, right? Just in the right spot at the right time, just backing up and picked a beautiful line. But, Daniel, what did you make of the halves overall, both Te Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita?
Oh, solid. Yeah. Again, I go back to what I mentioned at the start, is that they just had to simplify the game plan. You can't play necessarily the way Shawnee plays. And we've had to just kind of bring it back to basics. Let the lads, I guess Tamari can play both sides, but mainly playing short, really, his ball playing, and then just doing the little things on defence probably as well. Defensively, I think both stack up really well, and they just talk about that, right? Like, to get the defensive game right, and then you'll get the attacking game right. So absolute pass mark, and look, we're having Chanel there. He's one of the fittest in the club. We know that, and he's going to be available to take tough carries when needed. He's going to be the end of something when needed. He's got a kick. He's got a left foot when needed. So it's just a good little balance. Yeah.
Put in a real nice. I loved one of his, just a little, not like a high kick, just right on the goal line. Bostock had to catch it, like in the field of play, and then we just bashed him back. I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
I quite like that bump he put on Cody Nikarima as well.
Oh, the crowd loved that one too. Man, you could hear the move. They were like, oh, yeah. Now, Isaac, does it maybe just beg the question for when Sean does return in a couple of weeks' time? Does he need to start delegating a bit more to Te Maire and just, not taking so much on himself?
I don't think it's his call to make. I think it's really Webster's call to make, because I think Sean Johnson is just implementing the game plan that they had last year, and just doing as he's told. If Webster gives him the directive or lets him pull the reins back and go, hey, look, we're going to let Te Maire steer the ship at times, I think Sean Johnson will probably go, great, thank you for that, because then Sean Johnson can just chime in when he needs to. I think he will still steer the ship, but he'll probably share the load. Because I feel like the game plan that we had last year that we tried to instill this year hasn't really been working anyway. Yeah. So it's time for something different. And fortunately enough, TMM has shown that he can offer something in lieu of not having Sean Johnson. So Sean Johnson's probably watching TMM play, just going, this is fantastic for me as well. It's just going to loosen me up a bit. And yeah, they're probably going to have more opportunities on that left-hand side, which again we've been saying hadn't really been happening with SJ steering the ship anyway.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? The more you can stress them on one side of the field, then the more it's going to open up opportunities on the other one as well, right? So if we haven't been doing that throughout the year, then they can just be ready for what we're going to try and send down the right side, and that's largely what's been happening. But I think it will be good as well. I think we did miss the last couple of weeks. Just missed a little bit of Sean sort of polish on the end of a few sets. Little kicks here and there, which would probably help our cause. It's been a couple of times where I've sort of looked at Tamaide and been like, bro, kick it on this, or or don't kick it,
or pass it, or don't kick it,
yeah. Or whatever. But it is good to see us starting to get a bit of attacking juice going. Seen a couple of even offloads happening in there. Daniel, what do you think? Well, what do you put our sort of improved sort of potency down to especially over the past couple of weeks?
I think that simplification of Tamari, what he's trying to do. He's trying to put bigger guys on little guys. That's always a nice little combination, to run the bigger guys out wide. And we started seeing Tom Ali come in, play and run a bit wider. Even Bunty from time to time was getting out a bit wider too. You've obviously got Mitchie, stationed out there. So, and then obviously the key for me really was when Marata was back, we would have somebody close to the line that you could put a 1-on-1 on a half and steamroll them. And so that kind of short little interplay or that type of attack. It's not as you go back to that Melbourne game when we had double man bloody decoys running through, and we were crossing the line just at ease. And when we played the Rabbitohs and we were just carving the shreds, it doesn't look as slick as that. It's just a little bit more traditional, but it's just getting us going forward and getting us in the right positions. And it's working. It might not necessarily win you the games late in the season where the team step it up to another level, but it is actually what we need now. If we had that game plan, round 5 onwards, we probably would have won, at least 2 or 3 of those games we lost. So, I mean, it's just good to see. But they're just playing to the strengths, and I guess we've got some big ball runners out wide.
For sure.
I think one thing to note as well with that simplification of the game plan, putting a larger player on a smaller player, it's fairly obvious, but they're doing it well. But that will lead into, as time goes on, more of the stuff that we saw last year with the slick backline moves on the right-hand side, or maybe even the left-hand side, because it will put the defences, and obviously on the tip sheet, opposing coaches are going to go, okay, look out for this, look out for the short ball, Marata running off wide. And if that's on the tip sheet, that opens the door for the back door play to happen, so it's going to open up more avenues of attack.
I felt like we didn't want to. We wanted to score a try without making any contact and just running through and the perfect hole, the perfect time, and the perfect pass, the perfect run, as well. And actually, no, you actually need to stress the defence, see what happens. Throw someone there, and then an offload comes through, and that sort of stuff. You need to kind of play a little bit eyes up footy from time to time. You can't just can't be Moses and part the sea all the time. Got to be gritty, and that's warrior ball to a point. Big guys running wide, and then I don't mind the offload, right? So long as it's in a. We always talk about control. I don't mind the offload so long as you don't fuck it up. But there are times that the game is so tight, defence is so tight that actually an offload is the only way to really change the defensive structure as well. And don't we know about that? Against the Broncos, they offloaded the shit out of us in that final. As well, and we had no answers because the defences are so structured. So I don't mind it.
Now, Isaac, I think you would probably have been similarly appreciative as I was of the Marata Nukore, not just his presence on the field. He added a lot with that big body, but on that try, he did the almost like a head roll kind of manoeuvre to keep the momentum of the ball moving forward. He had to kind of almost roll up into his own face, and I was like, that is something special. I thought you might have liked that as well.
Yeah. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, G?
Is it Rupini?
Yeah.
Rupini down the border? Yeah.
And his flat top? He's out of bounds. His flat top touched touched the right hand touchline. Oh, that was gold. But he was in Al Pacino's words, he was fighting for every inch right there. Marata Nukore. He really was. Good try. Yeah, I was a little bit suspect on it the first time I saw it. I thought it might have been a double movement, but then try confirmed. Okay, all right, it's all good.
Then as he rolled up onto his forehead and the ball just kind of went forward, and it was like, they can't take that off us. Well,
just
we thought,
pure momentum.
Yeah, that's right. I love momentum. Now, we've got the bye week coming up next week. I have no idea what we're going to do with ourselves. The rest of the Warriors fans probably asking themselves the same questions as well. But the week after that, we're going to Townsville to take on the Cowboys. So, lads, what are we thinking in terms of, what are our major work-ons heading into that game? We'll start with you, Daniel.
Major work on is probably understanding who the fuck's available.
Introductions, yep, everyone.
Introductions. Yeah. I mean, look, getting troops back is going to be good, but it's just an interesting conundrum, because you're going to have blokes that have been playing well, and then you're going to have to go, well, you've got senior players coming back. So, it's a tough one. There may be some difficult decisions. There may be some opportunities even just to, you wouldn't think so, given, that we have buy round, so you have an extra week to recuperate. But I was just thinking, there might be the odd player that you just extend out for a bit longer.
Yeah.
If, to rush Shawnee back. I mean, look, we have Shawnee every day of the week in there, but if he's still having issues with his Achilles as well, maybe he doesn't need to be rushed back as well. My biggest concern now is when everyone's kind of starting to come back, how do we keep the kind of essence
Cohesion.
of what this team and this cohesion is doing?
The spirit.
But yeah, Dylan Walker has been fucking amazing. Tohu's amazing too. So yeah, so that's the thing for me, is how they fit everyone back in, and how they adjust the game plan, and how they take kind of the essence of what has worked for them in the last 2 weeks as well, and roll it into the Cowgirls.
Yeehaw.
Isaac, do we, looking at a guy like Tohu Harris, do we maybe think about starting him from the bench? Just, I know he's our captain. We just start him from the bench to bring him back into things and just get him reintegrated.
Reintegrated. He's not going back into society from jail. He hasn't been institutionalized. I think you have to start him. I think he's a consummate professional. He'll know how to fit into whatever's going on. But yeah, it is about the cohesion of the team and keeping the game plan going moving forward, and how that makes the team look in terms of the squad makeup. Particularly that bench is going to be the question. I mean, we've got one troop back, we've got Murata back. Where does he fit into all of this? We'll be missing Mitch Barnett because we'll be with the New South Wales squad. How do we fit around him? And what are the timelines for other different players coming in? But I think the club and Webby are strong of mind enough to make it work with whatever team they put on the park. In terms of implementing the new, I don't want to say new game plan, but different game plan than what they started with at the start of the season.
That's actually a good point for Marata Nukore. Coming into the season, we expected him to be maybe more of a middle-focused forward. Daniel, what do you think? What will be the plan for him when everyone's back healthy and firing?
I think he will play that second half edge role when everyone's back. I just think that potency out wide with give him 20-25 minutes and just really sting a defence as well. Or he starts back on the edge as well. There's a lot of options, I guess, is the key thing really. How do you get the best out of him too? I mean, I think the middle is an option for him, particularly next year. I can just see him and Fisher Harris just tear the shit out of people next year. They'll be a scary duo, but
they will be scary.
I just keep coming back to that potency, and we missed a bit of that. We had the bit of that last year, didn't we, with him there as well. He's not an 80-minute edge. You don't need him to be an 80-minute edge. And we also missed Josh Curran's, late in the game energy. Hey, big dick energy. So that's, I think Marata, when everyone's fit and we've got everyone in there as well, he'd probably spell Laban's role right on the bench.
Well, I think you've probably just hugely increased our chances of getting Josh Curran to feature on the podcast, bro. So that's good.
We love you, Josh.
I miss you,
I love you, Josh.
We miss you, Josh. 'Cause I missed you.
All right, lads. Well, this has been fun. Any more burning issues we want to get at before we...
Yes, one in particular. Two.
Oh.
First of all, was Cody Nikodima made some tackles. Where the fuck were those tackles? Where were they? Finally, fucking Uncle Wayne gets you back and make tackles. You can daggle. He played it right, actually, to be fair.
Played pretty good, I thought. Yeah. Which pissed me off.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. And I've just got a gripe with this strip tackle rule. Like, we obviously, it's been disguised, right? I'm making a tackle stripping you. Like, come on, man. The one that we challenged and we didn't get, like, he wrapped, he held him, and then he hit down. Like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
And like, they're chasing the game. There's so much work on the arms as well. I mean, of course they're going to try and get the ball out because they needed to get a turnover. So, yeah, I thought, I'm not sure who was the one who got stripped, but we did the captain's challenge. Can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Dylan, I thought that was rough.
It was old warrior Ewan Aitken with the strip.
Yes. And he wasn't, was he involved in the other one? No. I think they finally picked that one up. He had another one and they picked up and we got it our way.
Yeah.
And then, it felt the Jazz because there's just so much work. There's just so much work on the arms as well. Like, I just think they need to sort that out.
Yeah, poor Jazz thought he was about to get his redemption for the captain's challenge, from last week. He was like, no, guys, this is really a strip. And you could tell
Challenge.
the way the ball kind of like fired out, it was like, well, that doesn't like pop out like that at that speed, you know.
Yeah. Tackle one in their 20 and they're chasing the game.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just on the Ewan Aitken thing, that's also probably why our guy, Freddie Lusk, decided to step on his face. Ooh.
On that point, though, with that strip from Ewan Aitken that wasn't called a strip, the bunker said he had his arms wrapped around him and there was no motion. If you're tackling someone with your arm going like this, downwards, I would say that's a pretty stripping motion, right?
Oh.
If your hand is facing down, it's a strip because your hand isn't wrapping around the player. It's down. There was another contentious call by the bunker as well, or by the ref, end of the first half.
Oh yeah, what was up with that?
Yeah, and he called it as a clean catch, but there was no such clean catch there, right?
No. It was a dirty
say that fast three times. But bunker doesn't call anything. Ref calls that a clean catch. I mean, Spoonie's going to hate me for it, but that's just an absolutely colossal fuck up, right? Yeah, sorry, Spoonie. I know you hate it when you rag on the refs, but come on, like, if the definition of clean catch has changed, I didn't know about it because to me that didn't look like a clean catch.
No, it did
and that's hard to say, man. Clean catch. Clean catch.
Clean catch.
But then the Warriors put the ball down after that, right? What happened? It's just like, nah, fuck, I'm tired. I just need a break. Ref goes, it's halftime. Just call it. I'm tired. I just want to get off.
The clean catch of home.
The clean catch.
Oh boy. We nearly got through a full episode without bagging on the refs, but
sorry, Springy.
They deserve it.
I mean, tin hat on.
Come on, let's get him out. I just got one under his dolphin there. All right, boys. This has been fun. Always fun. When we get in the win. We're it's also fun to feel a bit. Well, sort of. There's a beat there. A heartbeat there. And we're like, yes, we got something, guys. There's hope. Hope can be a dangerous thing, but we'll see what happens next week. We'll see if we get Moneta Sauce back next week as well. Should we pan around to his replacement, who's been solid on this episode? Yeah, there you go, big fella. Thank you for.
Mate, I'm hearing news that we've got 17 players out next week.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yep.
Because they're on Bali. It's gonna go away.
Yeah.
So Brad and Bess went to Bali. Got a tattoo.
We're going to scrap Teams Day. We're going to scrap the 24-hour cut down. It's just going to be like whoever the hell turns up on the park is going to play for us. That's how it's going to be going forward. But,
yes. Stacey Jones will strap on the boots.
That's right. Stacey's coming back. Dwayne Mann. Sit in.
So to Tyler.
Can you imagine? How much we'd lose by? My name is Jared Cronin. This has been Warriors Anonymous on behalf of Daniel Parakura, Isaac Sauce, and the MIA Moneta Sauce. It's been fun. We'll catch you next week. We'll do something. I don't really know what we're going to do for bye week, but We'll figure out a plan
Well,
of attack.
It'd be like Shortland Street. We'll go back through the wards. Who's there? Who's not? Who's sleeping with whose wife?
Oh yeah. The rumor mill. we should come up with an episode on the stupidest rumors that are doing around.
Yeah. Well,
Should we just try to start a rumor and see how far it can spread? And then be next week was a lie.
It was complete fiction. Look at that guy.
Believe it or not.
Oh shit. Okay, I don't even know where the wheels fell off on this one, but that's been great. We'll catch you guys next week. For bye week, and then a couple of weeks after that, it'll be back into supporting our team. Up the Waz. Go the Warriors.
Go the wild.
La cucaracha ya no puede caminar porque no tiene